The restaurant was alive with the usual evening rush. The clatter of plates, the hiss of the stove, and the chatter of customers blended into a busy symphony. Everyone moved quickly, waiters balancing trays, cooks calling out orders, and managers checking the floor with sharp eyes. Yet in the corner of the kitchen, one young man worked quietly, almost like he wasn't part of the chaos at all. His name was Adam. His uniform was simple and clean, though the sleeves were rolled up to his elbows, revealing hands that were raw and calloused from constant scrubbing. He moved swiftly, washing dish after dish, stacking them neatly, and then rushing to clean another set. No one paid him much attention, not the chefs, not the waiters, not even the floor manager, who often walked past without a second glance. Adam didn't complain. He didn't speak much. He just worked. Outside, the city streets were wet from a light drizzle. Most of the buses had stopped running, and the street lights reflected on the puddles, casting a faint glow through the kitchen windows. Adam glanced toward the clock. Most of his shift had passed, but instead of slowing down, he pushed himself harder. There were bills to pay, a small apartment to rent, and younger siblings waiting for him to bring home some food. He had no one else to depend on. At that moment, a man entered the kitchen quietly. He wore a simple apron and a cap pulled low over his forehead. The kitchen staff barely noticed him, assuming he was a temporary helper or a new trainee. But this man was not like any other employee. He was Mr. Blake, the CEO of the restaurant chain. He had decided to spend a week undercover in his restaurants, working alongside his staff to understand their lives and see how the business truly ran. Tonight was his first night in this location, and he had chosen to observe the kitchen from the inside. He watched Adam. The young man worked tirelessly, cleaning, organizing, and rushing to meet the growing pile of dirty dishes. Even when a heavy tray slipped from his hands, spilling water and plates across the floor, Adam didn't shout or complain. He knelt down, picked up the fallen dishes, and continued as if nothing had happened. Mr. Blake's curiosity grew. He had seen many employees before, but none like this. There was something different about Adam, a quiet strength, a sense of responsibility far beyond his years. Why is he working so hard? Mr. Blake asked himself quietly. He wanted to know the story behind those tired eyes and the constant movement. He walked closer, pretending to organize utensils, and listened. Between the clatter of dishes and the orders being called, he could hear Adam quietly talking to himself. "Just a little more, almost done," Adam murmured, his voice soft but determined. Mr. Blake's heart tightened. There was a story here, and he knew it. As the evening progressed, Mr. Blake observed more closely. He noticed that Adam was not just working a regular shift. He had arrived hours earlier, before most of the staff, and he would stay hours later, long after the last customer had left. No one was paying him extra for this work. No one even noticed. During a short break, Adam sat on the edge of the kitchen counter, leaning back against the cold tile. He wiped his face with a damp cloth and looked tired, almost defeated. Mr. Blake approached him carefully, keeping his voice low. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, pretending to be a fellow employee. Adam looked up, startled at first, and then nodded. "I'm fine. Just busy." Mr. Blake studied him. The boy was strong, yes, but there was more to him. He carried a weight far heavier than dishes or hours of work. There was responsibility, worry, and determination all mixed into a quiet courage. After Adam returned to his work, Mr. Blake stood back and reflected. He realized that behind every dish cleaned and every corner scrubbed, there was a story of struggle, of sacrifice, and of resilience. And somehow, he felt a need to know it. The night went on. The restaurant slowly emptied, the sounds of the city outside growing louder than the kitchen now. Adam continued without pause, his body aching but his spirit unbroken. And Mr. Blake, observing him from the corner, felt a growing admiration. This was no ordinary employee. Adam was someone extraordinary, someone whose hard work and quiet dedication had gone unnoticed for too long. And Mr. Blake knew that tomorrow, he would begin the journey to uncover Adam's story, the story of the dishwasher who gave more than anyone could see. By the time Adam finally hung up his apron, the clock read past midnight. Most of the staff were gone, and the restaurant was silent. But Adam's work wasn't just about dishes. It was about survival, about family, and about a sense of duty that few could understand. And Mr. Blake, standing in the shadows, knew that this night was just the beginning. The next morning, the city streets were busy with traffic and the sounds of people rushing to their jobs. Adam walked slowly, carrying a small bag with a few belongings and a packed lunch he had prepared the night before. He had little time to rest before heading back to the restaurant for another long shift. Adam lived in a small apartment on the top floor of an old building. The walls were thin, and the floorboards creaked with every step. Inside, the apartment was neat but bare. A small kitchen, a worn-out sofa, and a single bed were all the space offered. On a table by the window, a few photographs were pinned to the wall, pictures of his younger sister Mia and little brother Leo, both smiling brightly, unaware of how much Adam struggled every day to provide for them. Adam sat down at the table and quietly ate his breakfast. He didn't speak much, even to himself. He just focused on the small tasks that had to be done: make breakfast, check bills, and then leave to work. Mia ran into the room, her hair messy but her eyes shining. "Adam, I drew something for you," she said, holding up a colorful sketch of a sunny day in the park. Adam smiled faintly. "It's beautiful, Mia," he said softly. He admired her effort, even if he had no time to hang it on the wall yet. Leo crawled onto the sofa with a small toy truck, making engine noises and giggling. Adam watched them for a moment, his heart aching. He wanted to give them more, but he could only give what he had: his presence and the little money he earned from long, tiring days. "Mom said breakfast is ready," Adam said finally, though there was no mother. His parents had passed away years ago, leaving him to care for his siblings. That was why he worked double shifts at the restaurant. There was no one else to help them, and he refused to let his siblings go hungry or without a roof over their heads. By mid-morning, Adam was back in the restaurant. The kitchen was already busy, and he quickly slipped into his routine. As he worked, he noticed small problems: the dishwasher machine making a strange noise, a tray of cutlery that wasn't clean enough, a chef short on ingredients. Adam fixed each problem quietly, without asking for help. Meanwhile, Mr. Blake returned to the restaurant, still in disguise. He wanted to see how Adam handled the pressure of both the kitchen and his life outside. Today, he observed Adam more closely, taking notes in his small notebook, trying to understand this quiet young man. During a short break, Mr. Blake approached Adam again, pretending to offer a cup of water. "You seem to be handling everything well," he said casually. Adam shrugged. "It's just work. It has to be done," he replied. There was no pride in his voice, only a quiet determination. "Curious," Mr. Blake asked, "do you have family depending on you?" Adam hesitated for a moment. He didn't usually share his personal life with anyone, but something about this man made him pause. "I have 2 younger siblings," he said softly. "They're at home. I have to take care of them." Mr. Blake nodded silently. He could feel the weight Adam carried. Most people Adam's age were focused on themselves, their friends, or their studies. But here was someone who had given up a normal life to support his family, quietly, without complaint. As the evening rush began, Adam's energy started to waver. He had worked since early morning, skipped lunch to save time, and yet he continued tirelessly. Customers came and went, orders piled up, and the staff were busy running around. Adam moved like a shadow, almost invisible, fixing mistakes and cleaning dishes, all while keeping a smile on his face. Mr. Blake watched as Adam noticed a new employee struggling to handle the fryer. Without hesitation, Adam stepped in, helping the employee adjust the heat and teaching him the right method. The employee nodded, grateful, and Adam quietly moved back to his own work. There was no boast, no recognition, only the act of helping. Later that night, after the restaurant closed, Adam stayed behind. He cleaned every corner, washed every dish, and prepared the kitchen for the next day. His back ached, his hands were sore, but he did not complain. He only thought of his siblings and the small comfort he could provide them. Mr. Blake finally approached Adam, removing his cap and apron, revealing his identity. Adam froze, eyes wide in shock. "You're the CEO?" Adam whispered. Mr. Blake nodded. "Yes. I needed to see things for myself. I wanted to understand how hard my employees really work." Adam looked down, unsure of what to say. He had never expected recognition. He had never expected anyone to notice him at all. Mr. Blake studied him for a long moment. "I see now. You're not just working for the restaurant. You're working for your family. You're carrying a responsibility far beyond your years." Adam's throat tightened. He didn't know what to say. All he had done was what he had to do. Mr. Blake placed a hand on Adam's shoulder. "Tomorrow, I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you, something you deserve." Adam felt a strange warmth. For the first time in a long time, he felt seen. As he finally left the restaurant that night, heading home to his siblings, he couldn't stop thinking about what Mr. Blake had said. Maybe, just maybe, there was hope that his hard work and sacrifice would not go unnoticed. And deep inside, Adam realized that this was only the beginning of a change he had never dreamed of. The next morning, Adam woke earlier than usual. Even though he had worked late the night before, he couldn't ignore the small sense of excitement lingering in his chest. Something about Mr. Blake's words had stayed with him. For years, Adam had believed that no one truly noticed his hard work. But now, someone did. He packed breakfast for Mia and Leo, making sure they had a warm meal before school. "Eat well," he said, smiling faintly. The children were cheerful, unaware of the sleepless nights Adam endured. They laughed and chattered about school projects and friends, filling the small apartment with light and energy. Adam watched them silently, letting their happiness fill the corners of his tired heart. After sending them off, Adam headed to the restaurant. The city was alive with morning traffic, but he walked quickly, focused on the day ahead. Today was different. Today, Mr. Blake had asked him to meet after his shift. Adam didn't know what to expect, and that uncertainty both excited and worried him. As he entered the restaurant, the kitchen was already busy. He slipped into his usual routine, washing dishes, organizing trays, and helping wherever needed. His movements were precise, almost automatic. Yet today, he felt a new sense of purpose. He was working not just for survival, but now with a spark of hope in his chest. Around mid-afternoon, Mr. Blake arrived again, this time without any disguise. The kitchen staff turned to stare. Their CEO, the man who made the big decisions from an office high above, was standing among them, observing every detail. Adam froze for a moment, then continued working. He didn't want to seem nervous or unprepared. Mr. Blake walked over, watching him carefully. "You've been working very hard, Adam," he said gently. "Do you mind if we talk after your shift?" Adam nodded, his throat tight. He had never had anyone in authority take such a personal interest in him. As the evening approached, the restaurant filled with customers. Orders flew in, the stove hissed, and plates clattered. Adam moved like a shadow, assisting chefs, washing dishes, and keeping the kitchen running smoothly. Yet today, he noticed something he had never seen before: the exhaustion in his own hands and arms. His muscles ached, and his feet throbbed, but he ignored it. There were always more dishes, more tasks, more responsibility. Finally, when the last customer left, Adam cleaned the counters one last time and hung up his apron. He followed Mr. Blake to the small office in the back of the restaurant. The office was modest but comfortable. Mr. Blake gestured for Adam to sit. "I've been observing you for a while," Mr. Blake began. "And I've learned about your situation, about your siblings, about the long hours, and the sacrifices you make." Adam's eyes widened slightly. He had never spoken openly about his life with anyone at work. "I want you to know," Mr. Blake continued, "that your work has not gone unnoticed. But it's more than that. You've been taking on far too much alone, and it's not fair to you." Adam looked down, unsure what to say. He had been taught to endure, to push through hardship, and to carry responsibilities quietly. Recognition and help were foreign concepts. "I want to help you, Adam," Mr. Blake said. "I want to make sure you don't have to work double shifts just to survive. You deserve a chance to live, not just to exist." Adam felt his chest tighten. He had never imagined someone in power would see him, not just see him, but understand him. A tear slipped down his cheek, quickly brushed away. Why would you do this for me?" Adam asked softly. "Because people like you are rare," Mr. Blake replied. "You care more about others than yourself. That kind of heart shouldn't go unnoticed. You should have the chance to dream, to grow, and to live without constant worry." Adam's mind raced. He thought of Mia and Leo. For the first time, he imagined a life where he could focus on them, where he didn't have to choose between paying rent and buying groceries. Mr. Blake smiled gently. "Tomorrow, I want to introduce you to someone who can help with your finances and make sure your siblings are cared for. You'll still work here if you want, but your life will change, Adam. I promise." For the first time in years, Adam felt a lightness in his chest. A feeling he had not allowed himself to experience in a long time: hope. As he left the office, Adam felt a strange mix of emotions: relief, disbelief, and joy. He returned home to Mia and Leo, who ran into the apartment excitedly. They noticed the change in him immediately. "Adam, you look happy," Mia exclaimed. Adam smiled, holding them both close. "I think everything might start getting better," he whispered. That night, as he lay in bed, Adam reflected on the past years. The exhaustion, the struggles, the long nights, it had all shaped him, but it had also made him feel invisible. Now, for the first time, he realized that sometimes, someone notices. Sometimes, the weight you carry doesn't have to be carried alone. And deep inside, Adam made a silent promise: no matter what happened, he would keep protecting his siblings, but he would also allow himself to accept help, hope, and maybe even happiness. Tomorrow, his life might begin to change in ways he could never imagine. The next morning, Adam woke up with a sense of anticipation he hadn't felt in years. Sunlight spilled through the thin curtains of his small apartment, illuminating the photos of Mia and Leo pinned on the wall. He ran his fingers over the edge of the table where he had placed their school lunches, his mind filled with thoughts of what the day would bring. After a quick breakfast, Adam kissed his siblings on the forehead. "I'll see you tonight," he said softly. They waved, oblivious to the storm of emotions swirling in his chest. When Adam arrived at the restaurant, he found Mr. Blake waiting for him near the kitchen. This time, he wasn't alone. A woman with kind eyes and a warm smile stood beside him. "Adam, this is Miss Clara," Mr. Blake introduced. "She will help you with your family's finances and make sure Mia and Leo have everything they need. You won't have to work 2 jobs to keep them safe anymore." Adam blinked in disbelief. He had never imagined anyone would step in like this. For years, he had carried the burden alone, silently, without expecting help. The thought of someone finally lifting part of that weight made his chest ache in a strange, beautiful way. Miss Clara smiled gently. "I've heard about your dedication, Adam. It's rare to see someone so committed to their family. I'm here to make sure you don't have to struggle alone anymore." Adam nodded, swallowing hard. I I don't know what to say." "Thank you," he whispered. "You don't need to say anything," Mr. Blake said. "Just let us help." The morning passed quickly. Adam worked his usual tasks, but there was a new energy in him. He moved faster, not out of exhaustion, but because he felt lighter somehow. Knowing someone cared, knowing his struggle was finally recognized, made him feel stronger than he had in years. During a short break, Adam stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. The city hummed with life, but he felt almost removed from it, caught in a bubble of relief and hope. He thought about Mia and Leo, about the long nights he had spent worrying, about the meals he had skipped, and the sacrifices he had silently made. For the first time, he allowed himself to imagine a different life, one where he could be more than just a provider, where he could live with some freedom and joy. Back inside, Mr. Blake watched Adam closely. "You've been carrying this alone for too long," he said quietly. "It's time to let someone stand beside you." Adam looked up, his eyes meeting Mr. Blake's. "I'm not used to this, to someone noticing," he admitted. "I've always thought I had to do everything myself." Mr. Blake smiled. "That's what makes you special. But being strong doesn't mean you have to bear every burden alone. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is accept help." Evening came, and the restaurant gradually emptied. Adam stayed behind to clean, but his pace was slower now, more relaxed. He didn't feel the same crushing weight pressing on him. Miss Clara walked him through a few details about managing finances and ensuring Mia and Leo had what they needed. Adam listened carefully, absorbing every word, feeling a sense of security he hadn't known before. Finally, Mr. Blake approached him. "Adam, you've done an incredible job here. But I also want you to know that your life outside these walls matters just as much. Take some time for yourself. You've earned it." Adam hesitated. The idea of taking a break was foreign. His entire life had been about working tirelessly, putting others first. But the thought of a small taste of freedom, even for a few hours, was intoxicating. On his way home, Adam felt lighter than he had in years. The streets looked different not because they had changed, but because his perspective had. He no longer felt trapped by endless responsibilities. There was hope, and with hope came strength. That night, Adam arrived home to find Mia and Leo waiting eagerly. "Adam, tell us about your day," Mia exclaimed. Adam smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. He told them small stories about the restaurant, carefully avoiding the heavy details, focusing instead on the funny moments and little successes. Leo giggled at Adam's exaggerated gestures, and Mia clapped with delight at his animated storytelling. As they went to bed, Adam sat by the window, looking out at the city lights. He thought about the journey he had been on, the endless hours, the silent sacrifices, the nights of exhaustion. And he thought about the future, now bright with possibilities he had never allowed himself to imagine. For the first time in a long time, Adam allowed himself to dream. He dreamed of taking Mia and Leo on trips they had never been on, of celebrating small joys without worrying about bills, of one day opening a small cafe where he could work and still have time with them. And in that quiet moment, Adam realized something profound. Life was not just about survival. It was about love, hope, and the courage to accept help when it was offered. Mr. Blake had not just recognized his hard work, he had given Adam a gift far greater than money or opportunity. He had given him the chance to live fully, to dream, and to protect his family without carrying every burden alone. Adam finally closed his eyes, a small smile on his face. Tomorrow was a new day, and for the first time, he was ready to face it with hope, strength, and the knowledge that he was not alone. The next morning, Adam woke up feeling lighter than he had in years. The weight of worry that had pressed on his shoulders for so long seemed smaller, almost manageable. Miss Clara had already helped organize the bills and set up a plan to support Mia and Leo. For the first time, Adam didn't feel like he had to do everything alone. He prepared breakfast for his siblings, and they ate together in cheerful silence. Mia excitedly showed Adam a drawing she had made of their small apartment, complete with little hearts around the edges. Leo, ever the curious one, asked endless questions about the world outside. Adam laughed, genuinely, enjoying their innocence and energy. When he arrived at the restaurant, Mr. Blake greeted him warmly. "Good morning, Adam," he said. "I hope you slept well." Adam nodded. "I did. Thank you, for everything." "Just doing what's right," Mr. Blake replied. "You've earned it." The kitchen was busy as usual, but today felt different. Adam moved with purpose, but without the exhaustion and anxiety that had accompanied him before. He noticed the little things he had missed before, the laughter between co-workers, the small gestures of kindness, and the pride in a perfectly clean set of dishes. During a short break, Adam stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. He watched the city awake around him, the buses, the people walking quickly to work, the aroma of fresh bread from a nearby bakery. Life seemed brighter, more alive, and he felt hope. When he returned inside, he found that Mr. Blake had arranged something special. A small, quiet area of the restaurant had been set up with flowers and a cake. Several staff members, whom Adam barely knew, were waiting quietly. "Adam," Mr. Blake said, stepping forward, "we wanted to celebrate you. Your hard work, your dedication, and your selflessness have inspired all of us. You've never asked for recognition, but you deserve it." Adam felt his throat tighten. He had never imagined such a gesture. He had spent years working in silence, unseen, thinking that no one cared about the effort he gave. And now, here were people celebrating him not for money, not for fame, but for who he was. "Thank you," Adam whispered, unable to find more words. The staff clapped, and Adam managed a small smile. He felt warmth in his chest, a feeling that he hadn't allowed himself in years. He thought of Mia and Leo, and how proud they would be if they could see this moment. As the day went on, Adam continued his work, but now he felt a new energy within him. Even when a large tray of dishes slipped from his hands, he laughed at himself instead of feeling frustrated. The staff around him noticed the change and responded with smiles and encouragement. Later that evening, after the restaurant had closed, Adam walked home slowly. The streets were quiet, and the cool night air refreshed him. He thought about the journey he had been on, the long shifts, the silent struggles, and the nights of exhaustion. And he realized how far he had come. At home, Mia and Leo ran to him, curious about the celebration. Adam hugged them both tightly. "Today was amazing," he said. "You wouldn't believe it." Mia's eyes sparkled. "Did they celebrate you, Adam?" "Yes," he replied softly. "They finally noticed. And it felt wonderful." Leo clutched his hand. "You deserve it, Adam. You work so hard for us." Adam felt tears prick his eyes. For years, he had carried the weight alone, never expecting recognition or thanks. And now, he realized that kindness could be found in unexpected places. It could come from strangers, from co-workers, and even from someone like Mr. Blake, who had taken the time to see him for who he truly was. The next few days were a mixture of routine and change. Miss Clara helped organize everything at home and ensured the siblings' needs were met. Adam had more time for himself and could focus on small joys, reading a book, taking a walk, or playing with Mia and Leo. Yet, despite this newfound support, Adam never lost his work ethic. He remained dedicated at the restaurant, helping his colleagues, mentoring new staff, and ensuring everything ran smoothly. But now, he did it with a sense of balance, knowing he didn't have to carry every burden alone. One evening, as Adam closed the restaurant for the night, Mr. Blake approached him. "You've done more than I could have expected," he said. "Not just in your work, but in the way you care for those around you. It's inspiring." Adam shook his head. "I just do what I have to. That's all." "No," Mr. Blake replied firmly. "It's more than that. You remind all of us that hard work and kindness matter. And sometimes, the world needs people like you to show the way." Adam smiled faintly. He had never thought of himself as inspiring. He had only thought of surviving, of keeping his siblings safe. Yet, hearing Mr. Blake's words made him realize that even small acts of dedication could touch the lives of many. That night, as Adam lay in bed, he felt a peace he had never known. The struggles were still there, the responsibilities still real, but now he had hope, support, and the knowledge that he didn't have to face life alone. And in that quiet moment, Adam allowed himself to dream not just for survival, but for happiness, for laughter, and for the simple joy of living fully with his siblings by his side. A few weeks had passed since Mr. Blake and Miss Clara stepped into Adam's life. The changes were significant. His siblings' needs were taken care of, his work hours were manageable, and Adam finally had moments to breathe. Yet, as life often proves, peace can be fragile. One morning, Adam arrived at the restaurant to find a letter slipped under the door. It was from the landlord, sternly stating that the rent for the apartment was overdue. Adam's heart sank. How could this be possible? Miss Clara had ensured payments were made. He quickly checked the documents she had given him. Everything seemed in order. He approached the office, where Mr. Blake was reviewing orders. "Sir, there's a problem with my rent," Adam said, holding the letter. "I don't understand. I thought everything was arranged." Mr. Blake took the letter and scanned it carefully. His brow furrowed. "This must be a mistake," he said. "I'll make a few calls and sort it out." "Don't worry." Adam nodded, but deep down, the fear of losing their home gnawed at him. He had fought so hard for stability, and now it felt as if it could vanish overnight. The morning rush began, and Adam threw himself into work as always. He washed dishes, organized the kitchen, and helped new employees learn their tasks. His movements were precise, almost mechanical. But inside, a tension simmered, a small knot of anxiety that refused to loosen. During a brief break, he stepped outside, breathing in the cool air. He thought of Mia and Leo, and how devastated they would be if they lost their home. His chest tightened, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a hint of hopelessness creep in. When Mr. Blake returned from making calls, he approached Adam with a calm smile. "The situation has been resolved," he said. "The landlord confirmed that all payments are in order, and there was a clerical mistake. Your home is safe." Adam let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Relief washed over him, and he felt gratitude for Mr. Blake's unwavering support. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I don't know what I would have done without you." "You don't have to face these things alone anymore," Mr. Blake said. "Remember that." Just as Adam began to feel the tension lift, another challenge appeared. A new supplier delivered ingredients that were not up to standard. Some vegetables were rotten, and a batch of meat had spoiled. The chefs were frustrated, and the kitchen risked falling behind on orders. Adam took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Let me handle this," he said calmly. He inspected the supplies, separated the bad ingredients, and coordinated with the staff to make sure the menu could continue without compromising quality. Hours passed, and Adam worked tirelessly to fix the problem. By the time the evening rush ended, he was exhausted but proud. The restaurant had run smoothly, and no customer had noticed a difference. Mr. Blake approached him afterward. "You handled that perfectly," he said. "You didn't panic, and you found a solution. That's remarkable." Adam smiled faintly. "I just did what I had to," he replied. But inside, he felt a sense of accomplishment he hadn't allowed himself to feel before. That night, as Adam walked home, he thought about the challenges he had faced in the past weeks. He realized that life would always bring problems, some small, some overwhelming. But he also understood that he didn't have to face them alone. With support, he could handle even the toughest situations. When he arrived home, Mia and Leo were waiting eagerly. "How was your day?" Mia asked, her eyes bright. Adam smiled, ruffling her hair. "It was busy," he said. "But everything worked out." Leo jumped onto his lap. "Did you fix everything?" he asked. Adam hugged them both tightly. "Yes," he said softly. "Everything is okay." Later, as he sat by the window, Adam reflected on how far he had come. Weeks ago, he had carried the weight of the world alone, facing long shifts and endless responsibilities without hope. Now, though challenges still appeared, he felt capable of handling them with the help of those who cared. He thought about Mr. Blake's words, "Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is accept help." Adam realized that accepting help did not make him weak, it made him stronger. It allowed him to protect his siblings, manage his responsibilities, and even take small moments to breathe and dream. As he lay in bed that night, he felt a quiet confidence settle over him. Life would continue to bring struggles, but he was no longer facing them alone. He had support, hope, and the knowledge that he had the strength to overcome whatever came next. For the first time in a long while, Adam slept peacefully, knowing that tomorrow would bring new challenges but also new opportunities. And he was ready to face them, hand in hand with the people who believed in him. The morning sun filtered through the curtains of Adam's apartment, casting a warm glow over the room. For the first time in years, he felt a sense of calm before starting his day. Mia and Leo were already up, laughing and preparing for school. Adam smiled, his heart full. Life was no longer a constant struggle, it had begun to feel like a journey he could navigate, step by step, with hope and support. When he arrived at the restaurant, Mr. Blake was waiting for him near the entrance. Today, Adam would not only work his shift but also meet with a small group of staff and managers. Mr. Blake had something important to share. "Good morning, Adam," Mr. Blake said warmly. "Today, I want everyone here to hear your story. Not for recognition alone, but because it can inspire others." Adam felt a nervous flutter in his chest. He had never been the center of attention, never shared the struggles that had shaped his life. But as he looked around the room, he saw faces that cared, faces that had supported him in small ways, and he nodded silently. Gathered in the staff lounge, Mr. Blake began to speak. "There's someone here whose dedication, perseverance, and kindness have touched us all. This person works tirelessly, not for praise, but for love, love for family, love for others. That person is Adam." Adam's eyes widened. Whispers spread across the room as staff turned to look at him. Some smiled, some nodded, and a few even clapped quietly. Adam felt a lump in his throat. He had never imagined anyone acknowledging his efforts like this. Mr. Blake continued, "Adam's story reminds us all why we do what we do. It reminds us that every act of dedication, no matter how small, matters. And it reminds us that we are stronger when we support each other." The room erupted in applause, and Adam felt warmth flood his chest. For years, he had hidden his struggle, believing that no one noticed. And now, not only had people noticed, but they also wanted to celebrate him not for his success, but for his heart. After the meeting, Adam returned to work with a new energy. Every task felt lighter, every chore more manageable. Even when the kitchen became busy, he moved with grace, guiding new employees, helping wherever needed, and sharing small smiles and words of encouragement. Later, during a quiet moment, Mr. Blake approached him. "Adam," he said, "I want you to know that this is just the beginning. We're going to create opportunities for you not just here, but for the future you deserve." Adam felt a mix of gratitude and humility. I don't know how to thank you," he whispered. "Just keep being yourself," Mr. Blake replied. "That's enough." After his shift, Adam walked home with a light step. Mia and Leo greeted him at the door, their eyes sparkling with curiosity and excitement. "Adam, tell us everything," Mia exclaimed. Adam laughed softly, lifting Leo into his arms. "There's so much to tell," he said. "But the most important thing is, things are going to get better. We don't have to worry as much anymore." That evening, the small apartment was filled with warmth. Adam cooked a simple dinner, and the three of them ate together, sharing laughter and stories. For the first time in years, Adam allowed himself to relax. The constant anxiety, the endless worry, had loosened its grip. He felt hope, joy, and a quiet pride in what he had built with his own hands and heart. Later, as Mia and Leo slept, Adam sat by the window, gazing at the city lights. He thought about his journey, the long nights in the restaurant, the silent sacrifices, the moments of fear and doubt. And he realized how far he had come. He had learned that accepting help was not weakness, that hope could exist even in the darkest times, and that small acts of love and dedication could change lives, including his own. Adam smiled softly. He knew there would still be challenges ahead, but he no longer feared them. He had discovered strength not only within himself but also in the people who cared for him. Life was no longer just survival, it was a chance to live fully, to love, and to grow. As he finally lay down, Adam whispered to himself, "We made it, we really made it." And in the quiet of that night, for the first time in a long while, he felt completely at peace. The next day, and all the days after, held promise. With hope in his heart, Adam walked forward, no longer just the hard-working dishwasher, but a young man who had discovered that life could be better, brighter, and full of unexpected kindness. And as he closed his eyes, he knew one truth above all: sometimes, life's greatest miracles happen when someone finally sees the heart that has been quietly carrying the weight of the world.